Hey fellas, is Jurassic Park a horror movie? Jurassic Park is a 1993 dinosaur film directed by Steven Spielberg because he decided that his first atmospheric, scary, animatronic-using movie, E.T., wasn't enough. Though Jurassic Park is based off Michael Crichton's 1990 horror novel, the film is often thought of as a children's movie. But is that label appropriate, or does this movie still carry the horror of its source material? To find that out, we'll have to take a look at the film. So without further ado, fellas and fellettes, my name is Stache, and welcome to Jurassic Park. We open on some credits that lead into this shot of workers transporting an animal. Everything's going well until this strange creature rams the side of its cage, causing this guy to be delivered to the animal like he's a cannibal's DoorDash, allowing the beast to kill him as we get one of the most memorable lines in the film.
Shoot her! Shoot her!
Okay, so Jurassic Park is what would happen if someone made Iconic the movie. I'll include as many scenes as I can, but they'll be better if you watch it for yourself. One fade later, and we are greeted by this very useless scene where we meet Donald Gennaro. He's a lawyer who's here because the family of the dead worker is suing the park. The investors are ready to break things off because of it, so instead of standing outside their window with a boombox, they just need some experts to take a look at the park and make sure that it's safe. One of those experts is Dr. Alan Grant. He's a paleontologist who's dating Dr. Ellie Sattler. They're on a dig and find this strangely familiar dinosaur before this old guy breaks into their trailer. His name is Colonel Sanders. John Hammond. He's the founder of the park from before, and he's here to invite the two to inspect his attraction. They promptly tell him to fuck off. He says please, and they tell him to fuck off again. Then he mentions cash. On their way to the park, which is an island, the three meet Dr. Ian Malcolm. He's a chaos doctor. He's basically here to be a wise ass and flirt with Grant's girlfriend. In Costa Rica, for some reason, we meet Dodgson, Nedry, and a whole bunch of exposition. Basically, the park is owned by a company named InGen, and Dodgson works for a rival company called Biosyn. Biosyn sucks ass and wants to steal animal embryos from InGen's park. And Nedry's gonna steal it for them, since he works there, and Dodgson can't because he'll be too busy disappearing for the next 5 movies. Ned's gonna steal them using this can of shaving cream that's actually a freezer. Yeah, I don't know either. On the island, the group rolls through a 10,000-volt fence and around the property. Ellie finds a really cool leaf while Alan sees something cooler. Hey, what's he looking at? What the fuck? Okay, so apparently there's dinosaurs at this dinosaur park. This scene is one of the most important scenes in movie history because it's the first time realistic CGI was put into a film with real people. It's also the first time the whole world yelled, "Holy shit, that's a dinosaur," at the same time. Welcome to technology. Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
This scene was so good that they're still milking the movie magic over 30 years later.
We're gonna make a fortune with this place.
That they did. To learn how they did it, the cast goes to the park's visitor center. They meet Mr. DNA, who tells them that they cloned the dinosaurs using blood that they found in mosquitoes trapped in amber. Speaking of cloning, this is the lab where they did it. Dr. Henry Wu, who had a much bigger part in the book, even lets them see a strangely familiar dinosaur hatching from an egg. Hey, what kind of dinosaur is this?
It's a velociraptor.
We bred raptors.
Alan freaks out because earlier he was talking about how smart and dangerous velociraptors were. So he goes to see the grown-up ones. They're in a quarantine pen because they almost escaped their enclosure, and their handler, Muldoon, also known as the guy from the beginning, says that they're too dangerous and should all be put down. Well, that's not very nice. Muldoon mopes while Hammond's grandkids, Lex and Tim, show up. Everyone goes on a tour of all the dinosaur pens, except the owner. That's not a good look, dude. And it gets even worse when none of his extinct sideshows show up. Oh man, not even the T-Rex? It's not like you see one of those every movie. The tour goes on, and it's so bad that it makes everyone jump out of a moving vehicle only to come face to face with a sick Triceratops. They don't know what's wrong with it, so Ellie sticks her hand into the 5th movie of this franchise and goes to inspect it back in the lab. In the control room, everyone yells at Nedry before they get upset because of how sucky the tour was.
2 no-shows and 1 sick Triceratops.
It could have been worse, John. A lot worse.
Fellas, relax. It's barely even Act 2. As the storm approaches, everyone rides back to the visitor center as Nedry shuts the power down to the security fences and to the automatic ride, trapping everyone in front of the T-Rex pen without protection. I'm sure this will have no plot relevance. Nedry sneaks into the freezer and pushes past all the ice pops. First time for everything. Before he steals a bunch of embryos and makes his escape. Mr. Arnold tries to turn everything back on, but Nedry's programming won't let him.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please!
They try to call for help, but the phones are down too. Back at the T-Rex pen, nothing happens. Until Rexy shows up and fingers the fence until she realizes that it's not electrified. Janara runs away like a little bitch as Rexy breaks free. We get this shot that I fuck with heavy as the theropod stomps around until Lex starts shining a flashlight, for some reason. The Rex does what you think she'd do until Grant is able to distract her with a road flare. Malcolm tries to help but ends up leading her to the bathroom where she knocks the doctor on his ass and eats the lawyer. At least he doesn't have to worry about his student loans anymore. The T-Rex is still grumpy, so she pushes Tim, Alan, and Lex into the pit before the giant frog fucks off. Now that was pretty scary, so here's a video of the T-Rex shivering from all the rain and the crew having to dry her off behind the scenes. It's good to see Spielberg treating his cast well. Meanwhile, Nedry is still driving around when he whips that hoe right down a cliff. He tries to get his car back on the road but is greeted by a dinosaur. This dino is a Dilophosaurus. It was mentioned before and it's 10 feet tall. In real life, this one's tiny. But it quickly proves that size does not matter when it shoots out a frill and spits venom on Nedry's face. He tries to get back in the car but drops his shaving cream as the dinosaur teleports next to him. He is eaten as the embryos are covered in mud. Back by the T-Rex pen, Ellie and Muldoon look for everyone and find Malcolm.
Remind me to thank John for a lovely weekend.
They rescue him as Rexy returns. We get this sick-ass chase scene as they make their getaway. Later, Alan, Tim, and Lex sleep in a tree and wake up to another iconic shot until they wander into another iconic shot. I'm getting tired of including these. And we're back at the visitor center. Malcolm makes me question myself as everyone decides to completely reboot the park by fully shutting down the power. This is risky, but not as risky as not doing anything.
Hold on to your butts.
It works, but in a not at all kind of way. Basically, the systems are back, but the everything else isn't. No biggie. Mr. Arnold just needs to go alone to the maintenance shed to turn them back on. Where is that? Oh, it's right through the dinosaur-infested jungle. He'll be fine. They're all safe. That's why Hammond makes everyone go into the emergency bunker. Wait. In the bunker, Ellie gets worried and goes to help Mr. Arnold. Her and Muldoon leave and notice that the pen where the raptors were is broken open. Now, where could they be? Oh, they're surrounding the one place that the characters need to go? Got it. Muldoon gets iconic scene to death as Ellie books it to the shed. She finds the breaker as Alan scars the kids some more and makes them climb a fence. Ellie turns the power to the fences back on while Tim is still on it, making him Looney Tunes his way off it. And as if things couldn't get any better, a raptor Kool-Aid mans through the wall and knocks her right into Mr. Arnold. Severed arm. She runs away as the raptor chases her and escapes as Alan revives Tim just before they make it back to the visitor center. Alan leaves the kids, real smart man, and goes outside where he runs into Ellie as a raptor finds her way inside. The kids hide in the kitchen as Alan arms himself.
Just the two raptors, right? You sure the third one's contained?
Yes. Unless they figure out how to open doors.
Huh. So the raptors figure out how to open doors. We get the iconic kitchen scene that I can't show too much of, but it ends with a raptor being trapped in a freezer because it has a different kind of door, and the kids escaping to Ellie and Grant for help. They retreat back to the control room where Lex hacks into the system, no I'm not kidding, and turns the safety systems back on, successfully allowing them to call for help and protecting them from the attacking raptor for like 2 seconds. Everyone escapes into the ceiling and the raptor gives us like 20 zillion iconic scenes. I cannot keep up with this shit anymore. The group escapes and climbs onto some dinosaur bones until they jump off and are greeted by the remaining 2 raptors. This is it. They're surrounded. After all that, there's nowhere left to go. As they realize this, a raptor goes to pounce on them, only to be stopped mid-air as the T-Rex comes out of literal nowhere and fights both the smaller animals. As the T-Rex gives us another iconic scene, for fuck's sake, they all escape when Hammond and Malcolm pull up to take everyone back to the helicopter pad. They all ride off knowing that they live to see another day, and that's it. Overall, Jurassic Park is a pretty scary movie. If you think I'm wrong, I challenge you to prove that the movie where innocent people get eaten by carnivorous beasts from millions of years ago isn't terrifying. Remember, just because it's family friendly doesn't mean that it's not scary. Just look at E.T. In case I didn't mention it enough, this movie is iconic. It's Jurassic Park. No need to say more. It's a dark and gloomy story about the potential dangers of genetic engineering wrapped up in a shiny finish. Beautiful. There's no gore, but that somehow makes the horror stronger. Hear me out, when you see gore, there's a line that you need to have. Using too much can make the movie feel cartoonish, and using too little can make it feel cheap. But not having any somehow makes this film feel more dangerous. In this movie, it gives off an aura of being eaten completely, being so screwed that if you make one wrong move, you're gone. Not torn up, not cut open, gone. That works well here, but really wouldn't anywhere else. There's some errors I noticed. For example, I'm probably the more tillionth person to talk about the pit that shouldn't be in the T-Rex pen, but some smaller things like the T-Rex being inside the building and the teleporting dino don't make much sense either. The whole lawsuit thing isn't exactly one line of one scene and should probably have been brought up again. but it wasn't in the novel a whole lot either. Personally, as someone who read the book, I do feel like the film strayed a little too far, but that doesn't make it bad, it just makes it different. So, taking all that into account, Jurassic Park gets a 93 out of 100 on the Stache-ometer. In mustache terms, that's fantastic. It's fun, iconic, terrifying, and the best movie I've covered so far. Fun fact, in real life, velociraptors were actually really small. While in the movie they're deadly, being the same height as a human, in real life they were just as dangerous while only being about 3 feet tall. So they must have had like a crazy Napoleon complex. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this 30-year-old film about bringing dinosaurs back to life isn't very realistic. And if you like real things, make sure to subscribe because I'm the realest motherfucker I know. Seriously though, click those like and subscribe buttons. If you made it this far, you either liked the video or you're a dinosaur that can open doors but can't close windows. Computer windows, that is. Either way, subscribe. You know, Jurassic Park is one of those movies you either don't care about, are obsessed with, or were once obsessed with. I know personally, I used to love this movie. I used to know everything about every movie. It reminds me of being a kid, so I'm probably biased as hell, but I don't care. People being obsessed with this movie allowed it to get like a mortillion sequels, some being way better than others.
That is one big pile of shit.
Maybe one day I'll cover all those too. But until then, lock your doors, reboot your systems, and comment your thoughts down below. I'll see you next time. Stache out.